I was just talking to your brother about that. BRUV. It's actually quite a clever name.
I came up with that. Did he take credit for mine?
No, he didn't.
Oh, wonderful.
No, he
wonderful.
didn't. But he didn't say it was you.
It was me.
But it's actually a very clever name. Because BRUV is a very English thing. It's a very young thing. It's a black thing. It touches a lot of bases. So how did you come up with the name?
I was looking for a clever acronym, I guess, and I was just trying to think of words that, you know, applied and resonated with the British youth. No matter what people think of myself and my brother and where we are certainly now in life, we're at a very different station in life, but we are essentially working class council estate men from Luton. That's where we grew up. Andrew was a fishmonger for 5 years. I worked in fast food for years behind various counters. We lived in a homeless shelter at one point when I first moved to England. We come from the bottom of the bottom. We understand the struggles of the common man. And I don't think many politicians, certainly not the ones that are sitting in the seats today, can say the same thing. So I thought, why not come up with a acronym for the party name that resonates with the common man as well as we think we do as well.
That's very interesting. I didn't know just quite how difficult your early life was. Tell us more about that, because your father was the greatest black chess player in the world.
Yes,
that's not a small thing.
No.
You wouldn't expect the son of the world's greatest black chess player to be in a homeless shelter or end up in a fishmonger.
Yeah, I mean, my father's first... I guess the early years of my life, when I was 1 or 2, he was a successful man. He had a good job working for the United States intelligence services. However, he lost all of that when I was maybe 1 or 2 years old. So all I ever remember was being poor. And he had this quest, I guess. His whole life's mission was to get his security clearance back, get his job back. And it never worked out for him. So at the point where my family could no longer afford medical insurance under the United States system, it was decided that my parents had split up. My mother went back to England. She took us with her. And I mean, she has all sorts of family issues that not worth going into, but there was nowhere for us to stay. So we were housed in a homeless shelter on Studley Road, opposite the fire station in Luton. We lived there for almost 2 years.
Wow.
Interesting.
And you grew up on a council estate.
Yep, Marsh Farm. The worst council estate in Luton, by the way.
Well, you've come a long way, of course,
Yeah.
and congratulations to you for that. The question is, what are you offering the people who are still there?
Well, that's the question. If I get into UK politics, I found out very recently, a mutual friend of ours, Hoz, who's in the House right now, I said, you know what, if I become an MP, I'll just use tens of millions of my own money fixing up the city. And he goes, you can't do that? I said, what do you mean I can't do that? Why can't I do that? Why can politicians take and get grants and private speaking gigs and millions of dollars from all sorts of international corporations? But the moment a man has made his own money and enters politics, he can't invest it back into his hometown. I'm better off not being a politician if I wanted to do something like that. In terms of giving back right now, I mean, myself and my brother have run our private foundation, Tate Pledge, for 6 years. We're not a registered charity because we don't take any donations from anybody, so we don't have to. We literally just spend our own money, whether it be the humanitarian crisis caused by the Ukraine war. I funded all the camps here in Romania that gave food and clothes to everybody coming across. Or any good cause, I guess, we find in the world, we try to right if we can. But what do I have to offer the people of Luton? I would say I have an understanding of how far the town has fallen. I moved there at a very different time. Luton was not a great place, but it's become a hell of a lot worse. It's a long way since the Vauxhall closures and the hat factory closures. It's a long way since, it's been a long time since Luton's ever made anything, produced anything. I understand the desperation. I understand the calls to do things that potentially aren't so good for society. I was lucky enough to find my kickboxing gym. And my trainer, Amir Subasic, a Bosnian Muslim from former Yugoslavia, who took me under his wing and trained us both up in martial arts. And that was, I guess, the first stepping stone to getting out of Luton. But I understand the calls to sell drugs, do illegal things, break into houses. I've been around these people. And the desperation is truly beyond the understanding of any politician who's sitting in Whitehall.